In the past election, I want to thank all the citizens that voted for me for Councillor of Coalport Borough. My intent has been to serve the taxpayers and citizens of this town with honesty and integrity, and to follow the statutes as the oath requires. Councillor must take requires us to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. These two constitutions we as councillor are to uphold. Part of the Commonwealth Constitution is the Borough Code of Pennsylvania, and by addressing these statutory restraints, you will see that some of the councillors are displeased. But I am here to serve you as councillor for Coalport Borough.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you pass down the sign, or did you?
Agenda.
Just sign the agenda? I just had it. Yeah, we can have yours. Meeting called to order at 7:05. Have the roll call of attendance, please. President Barbie Trent. Here. Vice President Joe Adam.
Here.
Calvin Glass.
Here.
Jack Root. Reverend Gerald Spaid.
Here.
Kevin Swager. Paul Zupich.
Here.
Mayor Margaret Magdalena.
She's here somewhere.
Yeah, I know she's here. Thank you. Have you all had a chance to look over the reading of the minutes?
I had some corrections. I sent them to the secretary, and she acknowledged that she received them, but they're not added to this.
Of course not, because we have to make a vote on that.
Okay.
What were your corrections written?
What I have written here is this: it is untrue that we did not vote on the matter, nor did we agree on the matter under bills, and the bills to be paid. We didn't have agreement, and the council should. I have an objection that I gave you a copy. Paying bills without vote of the honorable council. I don't agree with the paying of bills without vote of council. And secondly, under old business, it's untrue. The ordinance for codification overrules ordinance 190. It was not in the list of ordinances that were going to be kept. And it says that Reverend Spaid objects to the ordinance 190 being used. The wording in here makes it sound like I changed my mind in the course of the meeting. I did not change my mind on that, and that's
No, it says at this time, which leaves you open to readdress it further at a later date when you so choose.
Well, no, I said I objected to the fact that their codification 190 was set aside. All the other ordinances were. I kind of made light of amusing that 130 would be acceptable then. Well, it's not. Codification changed 130 to 195 or 4. Is that what the codification ordinance is? I think it's 194. I'll stand corrected if somebody says it's a different number. Those are my two objections in the.
So what's it going?
I will
Dispatch
agree
after
for the bills, the council agreed to pay the bills as they came in to keep the borough running. I do recall that I did ask for someone to make a motion to do that thing. However, we got, what's thinking what I'm looking for? Distracted on something else, and this was not brought back up. But I did ask for a motion. However,
Then it died. It died.
it didn't die.
It never was brought up.
There was a distraction. It was brought up. There was a distraction made, which happens. When we have 3 or 4 conversations going on at this table, and there should only be one conversation going on at this table.
Well, I object then that it was put in at all.
But
If it wasn't addressed, it might be in our
Reverend
business
Spaid, could
today.
you hold on a minute?
Okay, I
The
understand.
point that I was making, sir, was that since it didn't happen, and you have an objection to it, I will agree to have that remark stricken from the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Which one of the bills then?
Bills.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to accept the reading of the minutes with this correction?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Um,
All opposed? Motion carried. Visitors and guests. Our company's not with us tonight, so we will, move on to Mr. Nevling. You have the floor, sir.
Thanks, council, for the privilege. Kathy Oshel, Paul Winslow, Scott Askey, all rest in peace. Ben Hewitt, Janet Magus, Barbie Tripp, Peggy Madalena, Kevin Slaughter, Harry Simmelsberger, Jack Gallagher, Tom Spangle, Joe Adams, Jack Root, myself, Bill Marshall, and Gerald Spaid, to name a few. A statement was made at the 1 hour, 58-minute portion of the May 6th meeting by Councillor Zubich that somebody else was stealing borough funds. Was it by one or by all of the aforementioned officials? Who are you referring to?
Here's what I said. The evidence suggests, let's deal with Donna. Here's where I went through. Her child support was paid, which came to about $8,000 a year. He paid $48,000 over a 6-year period. Same
That
with her
was
wages.
not over a 6-year period of her child support.
Well, how many? I have the audit right here. I want to see it.
That issue was settled.
I know it was. And here's the point.
You made the other statement, Councillor Zubik, somebody else.
Yes. So here's
Somebody
how I
else.
came to that. I'm going to stick by that, and I'm going to explain how.
Thank you.
Donna took well over $100,000. That's right. But here's the point.
She did not take $100,000.
Well, we can add it up.
You're
It says-
smoking.
Well, I have the audit right here. Her child support was $8,232. Let's just round it down to
That's
$8,000.
incorrect.
Well, that's what it says. This is done by your elected auditors. 6 times 8 is $48,000. Now, we know you paid her child support.
Yes.
Okay, then the same with her wages. She worked 10 hours a week at $7 or than $7.25. But we'll take it up to 8. That will give you less than $4,000 a year. You paid her on some years over $10,000 a year. That's $6,000 too much. 6 times 6 is 36. So you add the 48 and the
That's
36.
not the issue, Councillor Zubik.
I know, I'm getting to that. What I'm getting to, once Donna was not stealing it, the money still didn't show up here. So where did the money go? You all did a budget that Jesus Christ himself couldn't decipher because I tried, and I do this for a living. I'm pretty good at what I
What did you
do.
say? Couldn't decipher?
Well, we can use
What did
whoever.
you just
I just
say?
said
All
Jesus
right,
Christ
all right,
himself
guys.
couldn't decipher your budget. You then hired bookkeepers that didn't know how to do bookkeeping, which is still haunting us to this day. because Social Security, nothing got paid. You can't pull somebody off the street and say you're a bookkeeper. Now, in my mind, these things are incompetence. If they aren't incompetence, then what are they? But here's where I'm going with all of this.
Yeah.
You add up all the money that was missing while Donna was here, it comes to well over $100,000. So when she wasn't stealing it, somebody else owned the evidence, is what I said. The evidence suggests somebody else was, because nothing got done here. Where did the money go? Where
Who are
was
you
it?
referring to as stealing?
I don't have a specific person. I said
Then
the
why did you make a
evidence,
statement as
because
such?
that the evidence suggests somebody else was stealing money from this place. It didn't go into the roads. You haven't, if all the money that was lost, stolen, and misappropriated from this place in the last 20 years went into this borough, every street in Coalport would be resurfaced. The money went somewhere. Now, I can't prove where it went other than Donna, but when she wasn't stealing it, before that, there was never a surplus. We were always in trouble. So where did the money go? When you have 13 bank accounts, when you hire a bookkeeper that doesn't know how to do bookkeeping, when you do an audit, a budget that nobody else can understand, those things collectively suggest theft.
Who
That's
are
my
you
point.
referring to?
I'm not,
as stealing?
all I'm
You made a
saying,
statement and
no,
you
and I never listed a person. I said just what I said now. I said the evidence suggests that other people have
You're
been
just
stealing.
enveloping, period.
Well, that's what the evidence suggests.
Hey, guys, could we do this one person at a time, please? One person at a time.
No, he asked for an answer.
Paul?
Well, you still didn't answer.
Joe? I'm sorry, Mr. Nevling.
Yes.
You have the floor, okay? When you asked Paul to answer your question, he had the floor. You want an answer for what was said in the May meeting. Nobody was mentioned. There were no names mentioned. When you have things like this going on, I can see where Paul's coming from. I really can. It doesn't suggest you were stealing. It doesn't suggest Jack Roop was stealing. It doesn't suggest anybody was stealing. Things were misappropriated. Accidents happen. Guess what? You know, I sat under your tutelage for how many years? There is no way in a year I'm gonna be as good as what you were. No way.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Mr. Neville. I'm
Absolutely.
glad you have more confidence in me than I do. But
Yeah.
Mr. Neville,
That's good.
it's just that things were just misappropriated and things got done. And, you know, I don't have a business degree. I have Reverend Spaid over here talking to me about ordinances and we don't even know what number. And I can't pass his suggestion without, and he even said, you know, if you know a number or if I'm wrong, you know, tell me.
It's 194.
Okay.
I just
You
wanted
know-
somebody to object to 194, but it's there and there's a list
Okay.
of ordinances.
It's just that the money went somewhere. We're not saying it lined anybody's pocket.
But
That's what
that's the
it
way it
sounds
sounds like.
I
That's the
actually
problem.
am
That's what it
saying that it appears to me.
And that's where a lot of people in town are trying to figure out.
Where's
who
a lot of
to get.
people? Where is a
Yeah.
lot of people? Honestly, and I understand here's concern, but when I hear a lot of people, this is an open meeting. And I'm glad that you show up, and I'm glad you show up. But where's those lot of people? I worked the street today for 6.5 hours and nobody stopped and talked to me,
I wanted you to.
except for you and you pulled me behind,
Yeah.
okay? So a lot of people. And I understand where you're coming, because I'm even frustrated. I was here in 2018, Mr. Nevling, and you know what? It's a screwed up for 2018. It's unreal, buddy. And nobody, we're not accusing anyone here at the table when we bring up how bad we screwed up in 2018. Because to me, it's a group unit. Council's a council. At that time, there were 7 people that let that slide. Not Mr. Nevling, not the secretary, well, the secretary did, not the treasurer. There were 7 people that accidentally, because of the trying of business and let things go on here, left things slide. It probably should have been left slide. But when people ask us questions like, where does this money go? Well, I don't know. It was there. I can show you that, unfortunately, that there was a secretary that made out quite well.
But the statement was made.
8 persons.
Yes,
It's,
I said
it's
that.
true.
I will stand by
And
that.
I'll
say
tell you
that
what,
again.
I'll read something to you too, sir. You know what? It hurt me more than it made me mad. Okay? Just to help you out, and then we're gonna move on because it's too business, because Paul's not gonna admit to a person, and I'm not gonna admit to a person, okay? But I'll read you a little email that I received, okay? And it
Personal
really,
email?
it came to Borough employees' personal email, so I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
Okay, since you brought this up to help you out a little bit. It appears to be a double standard in the alternative someone is telling untruth. According to Ms. Hub, we're gonna skip that. For the last 3 months, we have not been voting to pay any bills. In fact, in the violation of unlawful bylaws, the bill could be paid over $500 with a vote of council. A bill for a non-borough attorney, okay? Then on this bottom down here, this is what they accuse me of, sir. And count, where is that 40 at? Noel, I should underline, oh, here we are. In further checks, I've been in the business since 1974. At no time in my business career have I ever surrendered my checkbook to over 15 employees to sign a check. I believe only borough councilors who are the elected responsibility should be nominated as a check signer. The way bills are being paid causing me to believe we should be apologizing to Donna Morrison and forgive the more than $40,000 she owes. It appears the alleged amnesty is starting down the same path, in my opinion.
That's right.
Now,
I agree.
I have had that certain individual come up here every time I've paid a bill.
Okay, now, was that a typo? Donna Morrison?
Yes,
Donna
that was a
Peterson.
typo.
It must have been a typo, and see,
Right.
but irrelevant, you know, I'm
Because
being,
this-
I think
this
she Morris.
reflects
I'm sorry,
on
Dr.
Donna Morris, and
Yeah.
you don't wanna go there.
no, and I apologize for the thing, it's
Yeah.
not Morris, it's Pearson, but I'm just reading what was in my email.
Right.
I have every bill that was paid, I have copies of every bill that was paid, I have copies of every check that came into this place, and I have borrowed more time than anybody in this office in the last 6 months. And for someone to hurt my feelings that accuse me without coming to me faithfully and saying that, hey, I think it looks like you're stealing money, hurts my feelings. Because I've had that individual in this office with the borough's checkbook, the borough's receipts, the borough's statements, everything, and said, please look this over because I don't want anybody to say that I am misusing any funds from the borough. And to my face, he says, it looks like you're doing a good job. But then I received that email. That hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Out of the evidence,
And hurt.
I wrote that because it's true.
Well,
We
but-
haven't voted.
To my face,
We
sir,
have not
it's irrelevant.
voted.
To my face, you told me I was doing a good job.
As
Now
a
you're telling me I'm no
borough
different than the person that's
manager, you should bring the bills to council that we vote on.
I brought them. You know, whatever happened, we got there.
Okay, I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see the emails.
That hurt my
And,
feelings.
this isn't the issue, it was a statement that was made.
And nobody was accused, and we won't accuse anybody.
There was somebody accused,
Was there anybody named?
because there was a phantom, somebody either knew, my name's, just a few, now pick somebody out.
I said the evidence suggests she
Pick
was
somebody
smart. I'm
out.
not gonna do that because I can't prove
If
that.
you're hurting, you hurt a lot
That
of
may be,
good
well, the
people
evidence, that's what the evidence
with
suggests.
integrity.
That may be, but
It's not really a question of integrity, like.
Well, it certainly is.
I
You
just
cast a
explained you.
shadow on
Things
all
get
these
overlooked.
people of someone was stealing.
Well, Joe, here's the evidence. You had $147,000
I
coming
don't
in
want a lot of
2012. I know you
numbers, don't
don't.
dazzle me.
I know, and your bill, that's the problem. You didn't pay attention when you were here, and that's why these things
All right,
happen.
whoa.
Whoa.
We're not
Well,
going
that's
to
right.
Whoa.
That's what the evidence
There's
is.
another statement.
Yes.
There is another
But you
statement.
should know these things. If you
Madam
sat here
President,
and-
you
Guys,
should rein
stop.
in your councilman right now. You should rein him in. That is uncalled for.
Patty, I'm sorry, Mrs. McNulty, I'm sitting here, and I have 4 people sitting at this table, and I'm hitting this thing, and none of them are quiet. I stood,
Sorry.
and I am working at it, but I am one stinking person. Now, we're going to conduct this properly. We are not going to be insulting to anybody in this room, or I'm done, and we postpone the council meeting for another night, because I'm not gonna have this heated debate. I'm not gonna have this carrying on, and I'm not going to be standing here like some kindergarten teacher trying to rein in kids. We're all adults.
We're not
Let's
gonna
be it.
cover up things too.
Reverend Spaid,
We're not covering up things.
Reverend Spaid,
There's,
we are going to deal with Mr. Nevling, who has the floor, as our guest, and I've given him that floor. And we will cover your issues at due time.
thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Nevling, Please continue.
Well, like I said, I brought it before because a statement and it reflected a lot of good people, And I'll stand in front of it and, I take issue with it. I do. I know, good crap in your house.
No, I didn't say that.
Mr. Nevling, my apologies for,
Well, okay, now, I know you guys wanna move on, you have business and whatever, I should apologize, but I'm not going to. Okay, the other is, at the same meeting, is the borough management in such a dysfunctional that the president stated she would pay borough bills from her personal accounts. Well, could you explain that one? please?
sure. What had happened was, our secretary walked out. Just literally walked out, left us without a secretary. As I pointed out in previous meetings, I had, people here from the fire company, and J.R. Yeckley, he's one who works, he does heart casts, he works cardiac. We're both nurses. We both, as far as I know, have bachelor's degree. I'm pretty sure he has one too. But I could not walk into his job and do it without training. And we expected, I don't have the training to be the borough secretary, but I was here, I work a full-time job, 2 part-time jobs. Came here right after work, stayed here until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, went home and took a nap and did it all over again. Now I got phone calls, we didn't know how to write out checks, we didn't know what was going on, we were reaching out for people to help us, and we were trying to get things done. Well, the borough secretary had told, she had left in her resignation letter that she paid bills far enough in advance that we would be able to operate. I get a phone call from Bungo Tires. They want their money now, and it seems that they were waiting 2 months, which I was unaware of. I wheeled and dealed with them and tried to get them to wait. She says, do you understand how long we've been waiting? I explained the situation with the borough, and I said to her, this was like on, I think, a Thursday. And I said to her, I will do what I can. I said, but I promise you, if I can't get anything handled before next week, and she says, Wednesday of next week, okay. I said, that's fine. I said, if I can't get this taken care of by Wednesday of next week, I will pay you out of my own personal account. I will pay you personally as a donation to the borough. We got everything straightened up. The borough was able to pay that bill on their own. We also had paychecks coming due. Payroll was coming due. I had nobody to pay payroll, nobody that knew how to get into that account and do anything. And I told the borough employees, if we can't find something and we can't rectify this, I will pay your wages and make sure that you're paid. Both borough employees told me no, and that they would wait until we got things situated. They were waiting for a paycheck until we got things situated. But yes, that's what I did for Coalport Borough. I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. I don't care who knows. I don't care what people think about me. But I care enough about that community out there that I would pay out of my own personal account to an extent, because I have a daughter here that I have to support and she likes things. I would pay out of my own personal account to dig out Coalport Borough at that point in time until we could get things situated and we could get the man.
Very good gesture, but it's unacceptable for a municipality.
Joe, it is unacceptable. I mean,
It's
Mr. Nevling, it is unacceptable.
Very
I get
dysfunctional.
that.
Let me give you another example of dysfunction. If I may read something from our audit for 217, I'll just read one paragraph. I won't read all of this.
Okay.
We want to hear about dysfunction. It says here, deposits were paid in for employee federal withholding, that's Social Security and Medicare tax, but did not include the employer's share of Social Security and Medicare, and it is still owed at its 12/31/17. The actual 941 quarterly forms were not filed. We recommend that these forms be filed for 217 and pay the difference that is owed. Now, this same problem went all the way back to 214. So that's what happens when you hire people that don't know how to do the job.
And
You
guess
get
what?
this.
We ended up
And we're
doing the
cleaning
same
this up.
thing. We have a girl here who for 2 months came and did the minutes for the borough, volunteered. She didn't get paid for her work. Did not get paid for her work that she did here.
Well, that's not acceptable.
I understand that, sir, but at the point in time, we wanted to try and get somebody that has
It's
a
not
little bit of
acceptable thing,
knowledge.
it's not right either, because that's 6, 7 people, 8, 9 counting yourself, sir. As the only people that really gave a rat's butt when that person quit. And me and Wald had to collect all the checks. We had nobody to sign signatures because of the way it was set up. Because they were so worried about somebody else taking money, that we had nobody to even sign checks. And that was the way the council set it up, sir. We're not blaming nobody, but we are trying to fix it. I bust my butt, just trying to make sure we can get right back to normal. And I'm really, personally, I'm moving to Bucari in about 2 months. So it's getting close, and I can tell you this now, you're not gonna find nobody like Walter Yulee, or myself, or that girl right there. When we walk, this place is done, because you ain't got nobody in Coalport that's willing to take our place. Goodness gracious sakes, me and him, he got 9 votes, and I only got 19 out of all Coalport, and nobody ran against us, except for Mike Gregg, and we put his name on the
You
ballot.
folded in campaign.
Campaign nothing. I mean, come on, there's only, when you go to read the ballot, there was only 2 names on the ballot. There's 166 voters in the town of Coalport, registered voters.
No, that was only for Republicans. You and I goofed.
Oh,
We should have been like the president. We should have got down there for the Democrats to get write-ins. We didn't do it.
You two
We'll do it in the fall.
You can kibitz later.
Can I say one thing, Mr. President, to correct things?
Here's the problem.
I have the court order. Allegations were made about 100,000. They did an audit. They got all the evidence, and when they had all the evidence, this is the order of court that there was $23,176.43. Either the court didn't do a good job, but they say they have an audit division that did an audit on this borough.
Wasn't it that we submitted what was lost? It wasn't, we submitted what we wanted. How did it?
According to this, an audit division took care of
That's
it.
how.
Okay,
You
but we said this is how much the borough lost,
Right.
is that correct?
Right.
Right, or you can't get back if you sign a check.
We went.
Okay.
We went.
Well, this is a court order.
Correct.
We made phone
That's
calls
what it says.
to
And I
figure
really
out
hate
what we
bringing up old
bought
money.
and what we didn't buy.
Because it's unfortunate for the things that's happened.
So basically,
Legitly, that's what we could
It's
basically.
like how they were all well
prove.
used for the
Yeah,
flood
we could
project,
prove.
and we were all promised glory streets because of the flood project. Look where that done, cool.
She had a lot more
Yeah,
at stake.
and it's
that was-
unfortunate.
and we even stated that we felt that there was so much more, but we didn't catch
There's
it.
no proof, I'm sorry.
Exactly,
No proof.
we didn't catch it.
Yeah.
You know, even getting back what we're getting back is better than not getting anything back at all.
Over a period of 19 years, which I told Judge Amberman.
Yeah.
Okay, the other one I'll do is real quick. There's 7 councillors and a secretary treasurer. And apparently it was motioned to authorize borough check signing privileges to include a borough maintenance employee. Is that true?
Here, yes, and here's the issue. Here's the issue.
Unheard of. Unheard of.
Not unheard of.
Paul, you said that you worked
Yes.
at a high level,
Yes.
did you have an
Yes.
employee come in and
Yeah,
sign
there were
checks?
3 people, including me, that were able to sign checks, and there were 3 that had to have.
Was it
that
just 3
privilege.
people working there?
No, there were more, but there was 3 that had to have check signing privileges.
What company was it?
Here's,
It's called, a little place called Heathrow.
Unbelievable. I never
It's
never
not-
heard
it's
of a
called
company
management.
ever.
here's what the issue is, and everybody's, you know, and I've had people sitting here at this table that said, hey, I didn't give that a thought. But the people in Coalport Borough do. He's my brother, okay? She's my daughter. Under no circumstances whatsoever do I want check signing privileges with these 2. Because right here, we are all one family. And before you know it, anything happens, like you're here tonight because you feel that you were accused of something or somebody within the borough was accused of something, I'm gonna have a lynch mob here wanting to know what in the world we three did with the money, because I'm telling you right now, on a budget of 100,000 a year, we could probably go and spend a day at Del Grosso's. But, you know, but I'm not setting myself up for that. This was discussed here at the table.
You know what's that? I don't even think we have to explain that.
No.
The problem was, nobody else volunteered, and
And
I
they
said,
wouldn't do it.
well, we
Well,
need.
I wasn't here, so I would have
So,
volunteered.
And I
explain
wouldn't have
yourself
sucked you into it without your,
without you doing it.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel that Mr. Huey shouldn't sign checks, sir,
I do.
I'm more than happy to put your name on that book, but you gotta be here every Thursday at noon.
I'm bonded, I can be here.
No, you need to be here, and this is our concern.
Yeah.
Is
In
you go without
other
checks,
words-
cause I went
In
through that.
other words, we could go downtown and pick a resident taxpayer off the street and give them.
We're not saying that.
Well, it should be
This
of
is
the
what-
electorate.
We just wanted a third name, Mr. Dillon, just in case two people are here.
7 counselors.
But we had no.
That's all a
And a
mess.
secretary treasurer.
The way you had it set up was improper, and the auditors told us that. You've never had a management team here. We appointed him, he's the manager of this place, the director, and she's the assistant. So that's how a normal business runs. You have
This
board
is a
of directors.
municipality, not a business.
I know, but that's,
A
that's something,
municipality.
PSA Lee just pointed this out to us, we're kind of out front here. That we're moving in the right direction. All these little boroughs are appointing management teams. It was a year ago it was 11%, now it's at 20%. We're one of those 20%. So rather than being 50 years behind like we typically are, we're out front now. It's the right thing to do, to have management. You need management. And these auditors told us that you need management. And they're trained to do this. You cover a lot of boroughs, municipalities. Do other ones have managements in addition to the boards?
Some do.
Some do. Like Clearfield would have management.
Covensville does.
Yeah.
We are the management.
no,
We're supposed to be.
No, we are not supposed to
No,
be.
you're not.
no,
That
we're
didn't
gonna
work.
cover that, we're gonna go over that.
I don't know. I
We're
can't
gonna have Scott up
fathom
here.
out of 7 counselors
He's
and a secretary treasurer, if you cannot stay in the structure of the municipality.
Well, the
You
normal-
have an
Here's
employee-
what
And
happened.
having an employee, I'm not running Walton by any means.
We just needed somebody, and those people at the meeting, my name was already on it.
Well,
Our name was already on it.
why didn't you hold somebody on the street?
You wouldn't do that. You
Well,
weren't
I'm not gonna pull anybody on the
management.
street.
No, it wouldn't be.
No, I need somebody else.
Certainly would.
I'm already bonded.
We
You have a
oversee,
security bond.
he is overseen by
Makes
the
sense.
borough.
You
His
don't know what I
employment,
am.
I do
everything
know
is
that.
overseen by
Think
the
about
borough.
it.
Hey, I'll be more than happy of us to have him instead of Walton. But it needs to be on Thursday. And
I wouldn't do
Joe
that
knows
type of stuff.
I
I wouldn't do
care.
that.
But we need to have
Management is-
we
It
need
gets
to
screwed
have, whatever you're gonna pay needs to come before council. And if management is doing, management should bring a list of what needs to be paid to us so that we vote. We're the final
We will
authority.
cover that.
We're
a little
the
bit.
ones that are responsible.
Did you say
Not a
when is
management
Scott coming
team.
up? Did you say?
Scott was supposed to be here for the workshop, but he couldn't make it.
I'll call him tomorrow and see when we can do
But we're
another
still
workshop.
gonna cover that.
Okay, at this point, I'll yield the floor and, council can do their high-level business.
Did you ever have the
appreciate it.
questions ready for Mr. Nevling that he requested?
yes, I did. Long before I went on vacation. I hope he got the answers. I wrote the question.
No, he was not here for that meeting.
He was not here for that meeting.
Because he's got the answers in him.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I read these and then maybe later make a comment?
Sure,
We appreciate it. Yep.
not a problem.
I'm just here for the meeting.
Okay, appreciate that. Walt, you have anything?
No, I'm here for the adrenaline.
I didn't make coffee.
No comment.
All right, this now falls under correspondence. What do we got with Northwest Bank?
I did end up getting those 2018 deposits, and I do have them plugged into the computer. I'm not sure why, but that year-to-date still isn't right. So I'm gonna do further digging in all the different cabinets and see if I can find something that I can get put into the computer to try to correct that.
Wait, I'm lost. What are we correcting?
2008, she had to contact the bank and get copies of deposits, and she has them entered into the computer, but she said the year-to-date still isn't correct for 2018. So they need to, I don't think that's gonna be on your loss in finance because it's for last year. Or loss in profit.
That 2018 stuff.
Yes, that's coming right around the
So
corner.
we finally was able to get up the bank and figured out how to get them to give us all, so she can at least get all the deposits. We have copies of all the deposits that was deposited in 2018.
Can you enter them yet?
Yes.
I did get them entered.
But it won't let her change the year to date of the dates that they were actually deposited.
Yeah, so on the profit and loss, that's still, that year-to-date still isn't right.
It should.
It's close, but it's not right.
I would know. It would be.
Well, it's because they were deposits for 2018 and she's entering them and it just won't.
Oh, because she's entering them now.
Right,
You mean,
I just
right.
won't let her go back and do that. So she
I got you.
has manually been writing down all these deposits and doing, the year-to-date all on her own without the access of QuickBooks.
I actually did get that finished.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's on there now, right?
Yes.
It's on QuickBooks. We're close to being able to get some of the stuff.
No, on 218, I assume you did it similar to 219, therefore FICA and all those payroll taxes are just included broadly in payroll.
The only things that I had entered was the information I had, like the bills that were sent to Catherine. I got all those entered and all the deposits
But
entered.
did you use the right account number? I'm saying, did you use the
Yes.
social security account number? If it's just payroll, it's going to, the auditor's going to audit that and they're going to say that's an improper entry.
Right, but I don't know if that was the actual payroll amount that was given or if, like, if the security stuff was taken out or not. I won't know that.
We don't, because that paperwork wasn't filed. That's the hurt locker room.
But Catherine redid all that stuff, so Catherine can tell you which ones was FICA,
She
which
did
ones.
some of them, not all of them.
The last
That I-
quarter.
uh,
She fixed,
We'll
she
have
fixed the
trouble with the audit.
W-2s. Yeah,
Yes.
she should be able to get that information off of the old W-2s, just not by the quarter. We can't break it down by the quarter because we don't know.
We'll have trouble with the audit if
Yeah.
that stuff isn't on there. And then you get a list just like you got for 17.
Well, you have delineated under each one these separate taxes that have been taken out. Do you have subcategories? Because I'm assuming that the 6153 for Calvin is his number.
Are you
He's back on
looking at the
payroll.
profit and loss here on the
Yes.
sheet?
Yeah.
But the FICA and the PA and withholding is all under each individual here on page 7.
But we are
We're not in all
talking about
cases.
2018, and
Yes,
this
but-
is a
yeah.
2019.
But she used the
profit and
same
loss.
format. I'm saying if she did it the same for 218 as she did here, it's not going to work. She's going to get cited for a lot of improper entries, just like we did for 217.
Right.
Is Catherine doing 2018?
As far as I know, no.
No, we are.
Because
So
she
she's
doesn't-
she's only taking out from January
Right,
1st.
because you can't go back if we don't have the information that she
Wow.
needs. You understand, we
Yeah,
don't
but we
know.
got penalized
Yes,
for
so-
2017.
Well, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
The taxes were not filed quarterly
I tried to
properly.
explain that to you several meetings ago.
Yeah, I do. I'm just getting it out in the public.
But that was fixed by Catherine, and therefore we should have the numbers, and she should.
The end of 18, but.
Yes, I'm talking about only 18, just 18.
But you've gotta
But we
think, the
still have to go
first,
from-
second, and third, the only thing that was done.
What was the last quarter by
Would be your
Catherine?
last quarter
I
by
thought she
Catherine.
did the-
No, she can't, because she can't go back unless she knows what we were paid, what our total hours were.
I thought we
said about-
fixed all that.
She only, at the end of the year, she was able to get that paperwork, and she was gonna come down and show Noel. And when she does that, maybe we can get 2018 up to par, but you're still gonna have to work on 15, 16.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried about that 2018 audit. We need to
She's
get
doing what
that
she
audit
can.
done.
Without all the, information that was not presented or not put in there.
And this is taking time, this is taking a
August
lot
will
of
be here.
time, and again, the girl is working, she works her hours that she's allotted for the borough, and then she
There's
works
no hard
besides.
copies of the 941s.
I don't know what to tell you, but if that stops, DCED will shut off the flow of money here. If we are legally required to be audited.
I agree.
Alright,
Like I said, I haven't
Look
called
at our
her yet.
business.
I haven't called her yet to ask her what happens when you just don't have nothing.
I'd call somebody, DCED, Catherine, somebody.
All local government specialists, and they should send somebody here to help us. That's in addition to
which is where the Fosnot comes into play.
no, that's a different person, but we have a regional one, because I've talked to him.
Okay,
And you should have a local government specialist come in. Ed's leaving, so he's not gonna care. I mean, he, if he's not already gone, didn't he say June that you'd be? Excuse me?
didn't tell you.
Yes, yeah.
This is regional,
Northwest is ours. And they are ready and willing to help. Ed was a part of a program which we made a resolution and made me a liaison. And that's a different one. And I asked him about things. I'm surprised when you came up with the idea that we have help for the secretary, treasurer, I mean, which was great.
actually, I can't take credit for that, all I did was call, Terry, and Terry's the one that told me I needed to get a hold of Ed, because
He hasn't.
he had that information, and I'm sorry, I've only met Ed twice, Mr. Fosnot twice, but we were in that meeting, we were discussing what you were made a liaison for, we were discussing whether the borough wanted to go for it, we said to him, this is what we need, he had access to that.
Well, this
And you
was a
didn't tell us
specific
anything.
focus that we were gonna do, which would have done everything, And, but we can't come up with $3,500 for that.
No, not at this point in time. What's with Dubler Insurance?
Dubler Insurance would like to know if we want to backdate the cancellation of Angel's bond to when she was first gone, or if we want to, wait until July 8th.
If we can backdate it, wouldn't we get money back for that? If we backdate it?
I think we should,
I didn't even
since there's
think it was
some
with them.
issues,
The
you
date-
better take it to July. You better take some till July, because we may need the compensated for error.
But if we take it back to when she last touched the books, anything beyond that wouldn't be her error. It would be
No.
our error.
No, but
So why carry it until
You
July?
wouldn't, the bond
She's not
insures you
here and she's
against.
not touching any of the finances, so why have somebody bonded that's
Right,
not
it makes
here?
no sense.
It should be.
I mean, if she were
Whatever you
coming
wanna
out and helping, volunteering, whatever, but she can't, if there's a mistake made, she's not responsible for it, therefore the bond is no good, it covers only her.
we'll cover back what she did do, because
But
we're
that's
still
not-
trying
But
to
that's what they're
discover.
saying, is stop the bond from the time that she no
Right.
longer touched the books.
That's right.
Yeah,
I thought
Stop
we
it
did
then,
that.
I
backdate
thought
it
we did
then.
that too.
We already talked
So
about this.
let's,
Can we make a motion?
and that's what.
do you know the ramifications of letting it go? Did he explain why he would say to July?
No, but it does say,
Until July though?
Yeah.
Liberty Mutual
She's paid up.
recommends not canceling the bond until the books have been reconciled.
That's what I'm worried about.
That's what you're talking about.
That's right. If there's something that we find out that we have a claim, then we need to have that bond in
But that
place.
would cover her up until the point in time she no longer touched the books. After she no longer touched the book, it's not her problem.
Right.
That's like me,
Yeah.
wrecking a car and turning it in on your insurance when you didn't even wreck a car.
Yeah, if the books
No,
are
no,
reconciled,
we're-
she was bonded at the time. What the bond does, it covers against employee theft. That's all it does. It's a
She's no longer an
fidelity bond.
employee,
Right.
she's no longer touching the books, therefore she's no longer covered regardless.
And most
we
of the
still-
bond she had was a surety bond. It was the wrong bond.
I agree.
Remember, we went all through
I
that.
agree.
And
Can I make a motion that we stop it on the date of her resignation?
I second.
No, we can't do that. We're opening this up for discussion.
Thank you.
The
Patrick.
reason why we can't do that is she resigned. And then, to help us out, she came up and did payroll that 1 week.
Until
She
February.
was not a borough employee, she had already resigned at that point in time. She came up and she did payroll that week and she paid some bills.
Could you pick a date for us and I'll make a
Yes.
resolution?
There you go. Yes.
Well, you have, Noel has her in late January.
I believe January's meeting was the time that she.
Right, because.
And
we
I'd
had-
have to go further to see, was it, I thought it was up
So
until
it was in
February.
February
So we
that
started
she,
volunteering in February.
she did some finance work for us in February,
So
even
can-
though she,
Can I make
turned
a
in a resignation to help us out.
motion that we cancel that as of March 1st?
I second it. I
2019.
second it.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, I'm
I
sorry.
seconded the motion. My motion to terminate the bond on March 1st. I seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
No,
All opposed?
no,
Reverend Spaid is opposed.
I just see some ramifications of the issue.
I appreciate you being cautious, Reverend Spaid. That moves us on to unfinished business. As we have been, what?
I might have something else. I'm not sure where this should fit in, but I'm looking at her profit and loss report under fire company.
What
And it
page are
says
we on?
it would be on, I have page number, page 3. I'm looking on page 3, it would be number 411, where it
got
says fire. All right, now what I'm a little confused about, the last time we voted to pay SWIFT entirely,
Mhm.
right? My understanding SWIFT entirely is $12,000. This has $1,200. Is that right or is that wrong? Do you see where I'm at?
Yeah, you paid that number.
SWIFT, we budgeted, we claimed that according to this budget, SWIFT is going to cost us $12,000.
Yeah,
Well,
Are
that
you
was
looking at the
equally-
very first one
That
paid?
wasn't just all of us. That was Beccaria Township and,
Right,
Also-
that's what we're talking about, fire.
but what was our share of that?
Well, we pay it all.
And
They
then
It
pay
doesn't-
us, we
Yes.
pay Swift.
Has everybody paid?
Did you get from White Township and Beccaria Township payment for
We
Swift?
don't know, we haven't approved the
I
finance
know
report.
Beccaria Township,
I think so.
we did.
But anyway, the
White
last
Township, I
meeting,
believe we were still waiting on.
we said to pay, we voted to pay that entirely. It's just in the minutes that we approved, if I'm not mistaken.
Big check.
No.
This one here was in,
Well, where's it at?
according to that was
The
in,
one-
that was
the
January 10th,
1292?
if that date's right on that,
How much
on
did
the
you,
Swift.
Yeah, let me see.
how much did you pay? $12.92,
Yes,
which is
Okay,
the
that,
first line.
there should have been payments made
that would have
after
been,
that.
Angel would have paid that.
I was gonna say, that one wasn't paid by me.
Yeah, but you did pay. How much did you pay?
Where
that
is
check?
it?
The one you paid there.
That one was.
Remember when I was missing and I said, this has never happened again, we'll pay it full?
$774.
And you guys
It's in there.
took a, no, even
Well,
after
there's the
that.
12, where's the rest of the payment? It should be $12,000.
Because you guys voted.
Yeah.
It was in the minutes. that
And
You
she
guys
would
voted.
pay
to
it
get that
because
full.
she called.
It's not on there. That big check number, I come back and asked you, I told you to call them to make sure that was paid.
No, it was paid.
Okay, now
But
that was
where
just,
is
in-
it?
that was just in the month of May.
What's the second one down, Paul?
That's the donation,
That's
we
the
made the
donation.
$7,500 donation, and that was February.
All right, we have
So
Then we
that's-
see
Swift
Swift,
accounts,
yes,
fourth month, third day,
then 4th and the 8th, right?
fourth and the 8th, and one was for,
No,
That was a
The big
temporary
bill.
stopgap, I think, wasn't it?
774.
1,200 and
and
seven,
Well, I don't know where the big one is.
Yes, that big check that you just
It
read.
should be in
that was
this,
for you and Waltz, and that falls under different workman's comp. That's
but-
not.
Yeah, that was Amtrust. That was for us.
Yeah, that's
how
not
much
SWIFT.
was it?
are we gonna have a work session where we can
Yeah, maybe we should
defer this to?
Yes, that's a good idea.
We can't vote to approve it in a work session, but if you want to,
Well,
Well,
The Amtrust
Here's one-
is
I have one
code
more
number
thing I want to say about
the
484.
interest is on page 5, 484, and that was the big check that was written out for $2,504 to pay for workman's comp for our
That's for
employees.
our
That
guys.
was
Well-
not followed under SWIFT.
Well, we
SWIFT comes
talked
due
about-
again in August, before August. We should
Before
be
August.
receiving another bill
Okay,
for that because we start
okay,
from August to
right.
August.
I was just, all right, here. Let me
So
do
we're
one
taking,
more
are we
thing.
taking the money in from these different entities, Vicari and that, and then we're writing a check out of
Yes.
our? Why don't we just pass it through, take their check and apply our check and then?
Well, that's more or less
Because
what
they
we
write the
do,
check
but-
out to us.
I have
We
one-
deposit the check and we pay one big huge, because the fire company is here in Coalport Borough. It's not in Beccaria Township, it's not in White Township.
Okay.
So Beccaria Township and White Township pay us for their for their fire services. We in turn turn that over to the fire company in payment of their workman's comp.
Thank you for clarification.
I have one more comment, and I'll get off this topic. When we do our finance report, we haven't done one this entire year. We should do them 1 month at a time. Even if we're approving them all at one meeting, we should look at January and say, we approved the expenditures of $5,000.
Can you break that down per
That's
month?
how we.
Yeah, he and I
The
were talking about
manager
that.
should
Yeah.
bring us the bills that have to be paid for, so we can actually see this.
Let's work on
We'll
the
do
bills
that
here a
later,
little
yeah.
bit, okay?
But there's always some comes due before the next.
That's my whole question.
You get to see them.
I don't wanna get into that, but you're telling me that if I have to have an electric bill paid on June 2nd, and our meeting's not till June 3rd, and it's past due June 2nd, you're willing to pay the late fee,
And-
just so I can tell you that I have
you
to
don't
Well,
pay?
then why don't we have
You
a
don't get
special
paid.
meeting to pay bills?
Why? Because it's.
Because you bring the bills
Because
in
I
front
work
of
a
you.
full-time job
Yeah.
and 2 part-time jobs.
Nobody
right?
does it this way. Remember I sent you all that stuff of what the duty of council is and the duty of the administrative staff is. They break that down. You're to run the day-to-day operation. We're to set policy.
All right, we're getting off.
But, yeah, we are. Let's go. I'm sorry.
Where is that in the Borough Code?
Read it. I'll get it to you. I sent you that stuff.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry, I just feel like crap today. You almost got a phone call, Joe, because I'm really not into this.
What's next? Do I make a motion that we do a, workshop to do this?
Yes. We need a motion.
We don't need a
need a-
motion, we workshop all the
Yeah,
time.
we just have to do them.
We just have to do it.
Well, I just wanna mention in the meetings that we should vote or all decide if we're gonna pass this over, because I don't wanna get a letter a week down the road after everybody seems to agree in here, wanting to know why we didn't do it in this meeting. You understand what I'm saying? Now I'm starting to feel like I need to cover my butt every time
That's right.
we do something special, because certain individuals say or nod their head here, and then 2 weeks later you get a letter
Right.
totally
Okay.
off of what you talked about at the meeting.
Due to the power outage, we did not have a workshop on Wednesday. My excuse for my meeting Wednesday night. I had a fire company business meeting I had to take care of, but, are just shaking his head yes. So if y'all are in agreement this Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, Noel can, break all these down and we can go over it then. Are
Should you
y'all
have
okay
enough
with it?
time to Wednesday?
You say it, done like that.
You said you're gonna come up Wednesday and show her how to do it.
Oh, yeah. I
So-
can do it.
What, you know,
That's why I'm asking, is this okay?
so by Wednesday?
If she can do it, yeah.
Well, how long does it take you to do it?
All the
what are you
information's in
looking
there
for?
already.
We're breaking it down month for month, so we only wanna
Oh,
find
yeah,
out
yeah,
what.
she can do that right now in a couple seconds.
Okay, then Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. All right, moving along to
You gotta have
unfinished.
one on the 5th then.
On the fifth,
Yeah,
yes.
Whatever, the next one's.
I just checked.
Or, wait a minute,
Wait a minute, that's 2 days away.
that's 2 days away. That's what I mean, if you guys wanna get these finances taken care of and.
I think that's unfair for her. When does she work?
I work from 9 until 2.
well, hold on,
Every day? Every day?
until we get this
Till we
fixed.
get everything straightened up.
About 20 hours a week, between 20 and 21 hours a week.
Will Scott still come and help you?
I can see if you will.
Okay,
So this Wednesday or next?
We gotta decide.
I'm letting it all up to y'all. Do you wanna wait until next Wednesday? That's fine with me too.
A week from Wednesday.
A week from Wednesday, which
I
would be
think
the
that would be
12th.
fair to her.
That would be the 12th.
We didn't change it.
Never mind, Roger, I don't have an excuse.
You didn't tell me.
All right,
All right,
next Wednesday,
12.
write down that date,
The
the 12th.
12th, okay.
Is it gonna rain that day?
I don't
Hopefully the garbage truck.
We're
will pull it.
inside.
I got lots of time when it's raining.
Okay, unfinished business. The auditors, Catalano and Catalano have been in contact with us and we are trying to get things straightened around to where I understand that they cost a lot of money the last time we used them, but they had to recreate a budget. And we are with the understanding that if, she is fluent in QuickBooks, we get some stuff straightened around where they don't have to create a budget, it's not gonna cost us that much to have an audit.
It'd be 4,000 as well.
$1,500.
Oh, no, don't do that.
No,
It'll be $4,000.
We should advertise. And we have,
And we
Down this
can?
road,
we need
you won't have enough
an ordinance,
You won't
a
have it.
valid ordinance.
the one that was done before in 2015 where they decided that we were going to hire a public or a private auditor was not good enough?
It was not part of the inventory, in the codification, and codification set aside all ordinances except which was in the list of inventory of ordinances. The mayor did.
I would just go and do it.
Well, that's what I'm
We're
saying.
fine.
We're just doing things
Yeah.
without vote of council.
No, council
or-
voted on
or
that. You did
according
that.
to Borough Code.
That was illegal. It was
Okay,
at the
so
courthouse, it's
if the
fine.
borough, alright,
At the very least, you need a resolution.
okay.
Yes,
If you can
that's
show,
right,
if
that's
you can
right.
show me from a solicitor that we lawfully can do this, I will yield to the solicitor. We don't have a solicitor.
The
Reverend
solicitor
Spaid.
did review that ordinance for
Reverend
these guys.
Spaid, excuse me, please. If it was voted on in council for us to hire private auditors, okay, if it wasn't filed under codification or whatever, which was a mistake, an oversight, then why don't we fix it?
You have to create another ordinance to
No.
repair an ordinance.
If it
That is
wasn't
very good.
filed, and it should have been filed,
It was filed.
then why can't we just file it and take care of it?
Barbie, they hired an attorney who did the ordinance for them and filed the ordinance with the courthouse. She went down and got that at the courthouse. We are fine. We're fine. We're covered. They've had many
It's
auditors.
not in the inventory of
Well,
of
then
ordinances.
all those years we were wrong, but you have no choice. There are no elected auditors. You have no choice but to go with Catalano and Catalano. You'll not get.
You
we
want a
can-
resolution, you want at least a
We can,
resolution?
we
You have to go
we can
resolution.
we can appoint auditors. We can advertise and get from the electorate $1,500. They're spending $4,000. What benefit did we have of $5,200?
Reverend Spaid?
You're wasting your
Nothing.
time. He won't respond to logic or reason or anything. You're wasting your time.
Well, I can make the
Stop.
same argument
Stop.
with you, Counselor.
Yeah.
It's the Borough Code. It says what you have to do.
Okay, Reverend Spaid, You sat there and you told me you wanted at least a resolution for what we
You have to
decided to
do
do.
that.
Oh, you have to have that if you have the ordinance in place. You don't have an ordinance in place. There's no ordinance.
Then what did we pay an attorney for?
Well,
If there is no ordinance in place, we
You'll
pay
have
an
to
attorney
create
to
another
do-
ordinance to do your codification. You'll have to do another ordinance for an independent auditor. We can appoint auditors. We can appoint them $500 apiece out of the electorate. And we have some smart people in our town,
And
and they could do it.
yes, we do.
No, they.
And that would be
Everybody's done
$1,500.
that.
We have $696 that was fraudulently paid to an attorney who it was stated in this council, and that's part of my objection right here, that we're paying, this was paid. How is it paid without a vote of council?
Sure,
And-
get a lawyer
Because a
to
lot
sue
of
us.
things,
Yeah.
a lot of things have happened and slid by, just like I said
It
about
didn't
the
slide
bills.
by. I paid it because we voted to do a damn
Yes.
attorney, and the attorney sent us a bill, and I paid the attorney bill.
And you, rightfully so.
The attorney was not hired by Coalport Borough
And I
Council.
have an order from a judge that states differently.
Let him sue
Wow.
us. Why don't you just get an attorney or have us arrested,
I-
whatever.
I
Let's
say
not
it
just
again.
go.
I'm done! Stop!
This is not right.
Well, have me
Yours-
arrested.
No, it's not right. You're absolutely right, Reverend Spaid. It's not right.
Have me arrested.
People make
Have us all
mistakes,
arrested, yeah.
and all we can do is move
That's
from
why I
here.
file my objections when it actually hits the fan. Well, how do you think they got Miss Morris or Pete Peterson?
Reverend Spaid, we're gonna move along, cause I'm just not in the
I'm getting
mood.
tired.
I am too.
Yeah, it's
Ready to
time.
call
Keep
it.
going. What's next?
Well, as far as the solicitor is concerned, I have contacted attorneys and nobody wants to undertake this.
Well, yeah, very
Now, we do have,
And maintenance, and there was no free lunches.
Right, but yes, sir, I'm gonna tell you, in conversation and talking to people and making phone calls, I was able to put that light back in service with no charge to the
So you done good.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, real quick, I'm sorry about that. I don't know whether it's a joke or whether it's real. Does anybody in the room know what sneakers tied together, thrown over a wire, what it indicates?
Yes.
I
Somebody
was told,
No,
This is,
well, wait a minute, what's your answer?
I was told it had something to do with, I'm probably gonna be shot in my sleep tonight, but I was told it had something to do with the mafia and,
No, no.
okay.
I know there were,
it's,
and I believe Walt would remember from the military, because we all done it.
4 times
When we left someplace,
the same place.
like, especially if you did, like, when you left Okinawa, you know you weren't going back, we would take the oldest pair of, combat boots that we had, and we'd throw them over the line.
sort of a different society.
But now, you're right, so there could be
It's
any.
now a drug area. And I was talking to 2 different people, like you always say, people come, well, the chaplain from the VFW stuff, and he said it's a bad reflection on Coalport to have this. They're hung over a wire in front of the old Pizza King.
Are they still there? Are they still there? I'll call the electric
And
company.
I don't know whether it be state or whether it be borough.
No, it'd be the electric company, so we
It's a
can't.
bad reflection on people coming in and out.
I'll call the electric company.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I personally, and Walt, and I wouldn't ask you to do it either.
Well, we done it with
It's the
the
re-
commander.
Yeah, but I wouldn't reach up there, and undo it. So I'll call the electric company and tell them that we have a problem with that, get somebody done that, and see if
It's
there's
just
a way to get somebody to come in and
bad-
take them off.
A bad reflection.
Somebody filled the stream, windstream or something, but tomorrow, please put that on my notes to do tomorrow. I'll call and see if I can get them off.
Thank you. Okay. No more interruptions.
thank you, Mr. Neville. I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, if memory serves me right, when you were president, did you or did you not ask for a motion? Cause I'm trying to learn here, okay? Did you or did you not ask for a motion to pay the bills for the upkeep of the borough until the next regular meeting? And this is not anything special, this is the upkeep of the borough, electric bills, water bills, insurances. Wasn't that motion made every meeting when we discussed bills to be paid?
There was times that we didn't know what bills was coming in, and it was more or less, there were bills come in to keep the borough operating, they would be paid.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, as she has just stated, right now, none of the bills for June have come in that are due, everything is up to date. So I am going to ask for a motion to pay bills to keep the borough, for the upkeep of the borough, and to keep it running until the next regular meeting. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion to, any bills that's gotta come in because of it only being the beginning of the month, so nothing is late to be done. If bills come in and need to be paid, that we go ahead and do them.
Do I have a
Keep the
second?
borough operating.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Any discussion on the motion?
It hasn't been properly seconded.
I'm asking for a discussion due to the fact that, anybody doesn't understand why I'm asking for the motion. I want our borough covered, that we don't have this kind of argument and carrying on at the council table again. I want a motion in place so that we can say, motion was made, and I'm, again, as Joe stated, this is not for like anything extravagant, this is just to keep the borough running, and we shouldn't even need to make this kind of a motion.
That's right.
But
That's right.
since it seems to be an issue, this is why I'm asking it.
Well, I thought a motion, an objection because of things being paid that should not have been
And
paid.
your objections and everything will be entered in as you
Thank you.
requested. I promised that we would do that. I already gave Noel instructions to do that. I'm asking for a second to pay the bills that need to be paid in order to keep the borough running.
I'll second that, just to keep this thing moving. I know what you're coming from, and I know why, but I just think
It's overkill, I know.
We already
It's
tabled
redundant,
the
shouldn't do
issue
it, yeah.
until the 12th.
We tabled the finance report until the 12th. We did
That's
not
the same
table
thing.
bills.
That's what you're doing, though, is I always try to get you to read the county commissioners' minutes and see how they do it. The bills are presented from the controller and they approve the bills. They don't,
Yes,
they don't
sir,
do
yeah,
anything.
that's what I'm requesting, that if the manager has bills, that he present those
And
to council.
that's what she does. She's the treasurer. She gives us this finance report and we approve that.
So
You
what
see
you're
the
saying
bills.
is bills should not be paid until we meet again?
No, I'm not saying that at
But
all.
that's the motion
No,
I was
that's,
asking for.
that's not what, it's redundant. People don't do that. It's crazy, so I.
All right,
Yeah,
we
that's
have,
what we're doing,
it has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye,
Opposed.
and Reverend Spaid is opposed. Okay, motion carried. I already covered chain of command, so we don't need to do that. Okay, it has come to my attention that there was a donation made by the Coalport Christian Missionary Alliance Church for, the park, to purchase cameras because of the vandalism issue that we have had. Someone else had, and this was last year that this was done. Someone else came to me and stated that there was a second donation made. Noel has not found, any, proof that there was a second donation made. I did call a member of the CMA church, my brother attends there, he gave me a number, I called her, I am waiting for her to call me back because I wanna know, I had asked what the amount of the donation was that they had made all total, like if there was a second donation, whatever. Reason being is that a person contacted me, stated that this donation was made, that they were told this donation was made, and that cameras had not been purchased for the park. Well, if there is no additional donation that came in, you know, I wanna make sure of that, so that we have our bases covered and we are using money for what it's intended to be when people are nice enough to donate it to the borough, so that we don't have that added expense. Now, I'm bringing it up at the meeting because are any of you aware of a donation that was made by Christian
Yes.
Shannon's church?
But
2 or 1?
I'm sworn to confidentiality on the matter. We lost those donations because we commingled funds instead of leaving it in a park fund. And those funds were taken out and just put in the general fund.
But there is, yes, your donations are put in the general fund, but here is what we were doing. There is, anything that was allotted for the park, that money was spent in the park, out of the general fund. It apparently was kept track of.
But when was this donation made? Not that we didn't get one last year but when was this donation made? Cause you would have went through all the deposits.
Yes, there was one from last year.
There was
So
one
there
from
was
last
last year.
year, and there was a camera purchase for the park.
Not from that fund.
Then we
Need to
take
get,
care
yeah,
of that.
there's one purchase that it wasn't by
by the,
the
okay,
donation. that
by
was
the
made.
donation, okay, if
Correct.
that is what the donation is for, and like I said, I'm waiting on this woman to contact me and let me know, but if that's what that donation was for, then that's what we need to use the money for.
But we
Correct.
lost future funds because I did see a letter from the church that they will not be donating to this borough because of the commingling of funds.
And that is their prerogative.
I mean, that was my interpretation of.
Did you receive such a letter?
No, they did. It was not sent.
You saw a letter that was never sent to the borough.
That's correct.
Okay,
I mean, I'm here to represent the people of this, as you said. I'm representing people, and I heard complaints. And I present those, and without the permission of the individuals, I cannot.
well, I don't want you to give anybody's name, I'm sorry,
So-
I'm just not into the name.
This money that donated is specifically stated for camera.
Apparently so, and that's why I put in the phone call that I did to the church, because if that's what it's for, and that's what it needs to go for.
Thank you.
Moving right along, Little League field. We had discussed about them using, somebody had approached the borough.
I'm here right now. I'm here right now.
Alright.
That's why I'm here.
All right, you have the floor.
I'm Jeff Shaw. I know some of you. I don't know some of you.
You have the floor.
We're not asking for money. We just want the permission to start redoing that field. We want to start the outfield. When baseball is over this year, we're practicing on it now. We're gonna have a game down there on Thursday. Please come watch. It's gonna be Glendale versus Glendale. We want to start doing something down there. If we leave that thing the way it's been, it's gonna be full of needles and not full of baseball players.
Right.
We're not asking.
Letting them do whatever they want.
Yeah, we might ask for equipment. We might ask, anybody wants to help us.
Volunteer, that's what they did.
But we'll,
You're gonna do the work or whatever you want. You just want permission, right?
Yeah, we're good to do whatever we want.
Uh-uh.
I mean, baseball association, somebody write it in writing for me. There's mainly gonna be probably 5 of us that are out there doing work. But we need baseball fields. Our owner's got softball.
Right.
We need baseball fields.
You
We have
want,
two.
you want you want a letter that states that we're allowing you to work in the field.
Yep.
If you would make sure the secretary gets your address before you leave, she will do that on borough letterhead.
Okay.
I have a motion on the floor to let the Little League, Paul made a motion. Do I have a second?
Do they have to sign a waiver?
Joe
in case they
Adam?
get hurt?
I was gonna bring that up. Good point.
Yeah,
Are we talking
Volunteer,
about the
great.
foot, or the baseball team getting hurt, or workers getting hurt?
Well, the people working on the field.
The people working on the
There's
field?
only-
That's your
We
whole,
have,
that's
we
hard.
have waivers.
Yeah.
Would your volunteers be willing to sign
Yeah,
waivers that
we'll
they-
sign waivers.
It's not a
Yeah,
waiver.
I got no problem with that.
Joe Adams seconded a motion. All in favor signify by aye. All opposed. Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
If you need anything, like I told you before, just let me know.
Thanks, I just think that field's been set way too long.
Sure.
You know, we need baseball.
There's two there.
Player gets hurt.
Well, we know that, but we gotta start with the positive field first. We're gonna probably wanna move into that Teen League field back.
Okay. What time is your game on Thursday?
6.
We need bleachers down.
Huh?
We need bleachers down.
But that's good if you want. It's just gonna be one game. I mean, we can pull kick chairs out, I wouldn't think. We're not having
We
no
can set
concession
them up
stand
right
or
up
something
on
like
top of
that.
the
We're just, it's gonna be Glendale, play Glendale. We got rained out.
Okay.
And we don't have a field, we don't have fields to do makeup games on. I mean, we just don't have fields. We got one field up in Reed and they expect 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 7, 8 teams playing on it, 7 teams playing on it.
Well,
And
thanks.
that's what we got.
That's cool.
So, cool. Brothers Pizza,
What about?
Main Street.
That's where he's from, his brother.
Okay.
Yeah. If any of these guys, I'll come up and pick it up, whatever I gotta do. We gotta sign those things anyway to work on it.
The waiver, yeah.
So I gotta talk to, I'll get you guys names, everything will be down there. We'll all get together.
Okay.
When can I meet, when can I come up here with everybody? What time?
Well, we're having a work
Joe Keith.
session on the 12th at 6 o'clock, which is next
We need that.
Wednesday.
Wednesdays we got games. Can't put a parent away from the game.
Right.
Um,
Are you
That's
talking
why I got
about,
here late, I apologize, I was in the game.
are you talking about meeting to sign the waiver?
Yeah, just to come
Oh,
up, sign
I'll
it.
I'll give you
Yeah.
some blank waivers. You
You
can
just
guys
give them for
sign
me?
them,
Okay,
and then bring them up before.
Just bring them up and drop them
Okay.
off. She's here from 9 to 2 every day,
okay,
Monday through Friday.
alright, that works.
We've been talking to them down at the park, so
Yeah, if they're
I'm
in
aware and I
association-
asked them to come to the meeting.
But if they're an association, all we need is one.
One for the, but.
If they're,
you have
if they're a
different
bona
goals.
fide,
It's Glendale Baseball Association, you probably just need Rick Free's signature. He's the head of it, I think.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, that works.
And if
I'll talk to these guys.
if that's the case, then
Maybe
insurance and
tonight,
everything else,
maybe
they're
not,
covered through
whatever.
that.
Do they have their own insurance?
Yes, just like the soccer and everything else,
Yeah.
they can't be an association without.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you wanna,
I'll check
my
it.
suggestion is to talk to Joe and see
Right.
if we need a rider or whatever.
Yeah, because it would be the same thing, somebody down at the park, kids playing at the park, I mean, we can't get a rider on every kid that plays at the
Yeah.
park, we have insurance
Yeah.
on them.
Thanks for getting the kids something to do around here.
Yeah,
That's really
That's
nice.
important, man, or else we're gonna end up like he said, we already got the problem.
It
We gotta
is
keep them
so,
out of it now, you
it's so
know?
great to see baseball in Coalport.
It is, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I don't-
I'm actually gonna put it on Facebook so I can try to get people down there to watch it, cause, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I played for the Yellow Jackets, and Coalport was the field to play on. And, you know, Arbona didn't have nothing back then, so it can be built again.
That's a long time ago.
Pretty good to there.
Okay, moving right along, I have something else.
You're
Good
younger
of
than
the
me.
borough.
Your dogs agree.
Time to go, she says.
It's time to go.
I'm moving along.
9
Motion to
o'clock,
adjourn.
say.
No.
Yeah, hurry up.
Okay, as far as emails are concerned, it was a great idea when everything first started out. But, I know we're a small community, I know we're a small government entity, but all I can picture is Hillary Clinton. So, the emails were originated so that we can view the finance report and motions, or, and minutes before the meeting. Emails have gotten out of hand. So I personally would rather not receive any emails other than the minutes and the finance report. And if we're going to hold a meeting, of course, discuss that in an email. That's my personal opinion. Those are my personal wishes. Y'all do whatever you want, but that's where I stand. I don't want my email address getting out to other people. And I just, that's how I see it. I wanna go back to why the emails were first, brought about. They were a great idea, and I think we can get back there and be productive with that. Any discussion? Okay, moving right along.
Objection to, free speech then. We can't,
It's my personal email. Therefore, this is not a Coalport Borough email, it's my personal email.
I just don't want Reverend Spaid to have mine because he disseminates his stuff all over the place.
I don't want insulting.
Well, that's why this has happened.
I understand, but mine and your idea of an email I would choose for isn't gonna be somebody else's idea.
I'm with you, I'm not.
I'm just bringing it forward, that's what I want. Now, I do have another guest that's here. I would appreciate it if the cameras would be shut off due to the content. I am not going into executive session. The meeting is not adjourned yet, but due to the content of what he's presenting, I'm requesting that all
I think you
cameras
better
be shut
have
off.
an executive session if it's something.
We can, because it may pertain to personnel
Yeah.
with what he has to say. I can do an executive session.
I think that would be the best, otherwise I would object to turning the cameras off.
Okay,
Okay,
That's
fine,
okay.
we're going into executive session. If anybody else has any other comments that they need to make.
There's still one thing, are we gonna do the auditor or not? We have to appoint an auditor, we're in trouble here, that does require a resolution.
It needs an ordinance.
It needs a resolution,
And
let's do the
two-thirds
resolution.
vote of council to have a,
That's been done, let them sue us, but we gotta have
Thank
it.
you, Mrs. McNulty.
Thank you.
See ya.
Or we can't be audited,
Okay,
we do need a
So-
resolution.
we do need a resolution for an auditor. Reverend Spaid brought up advertising for an auditor, to get cheaper results.
that's great.
And you and I have discussed this before in an open forum, why I feel that is detrimental. You get what you pay for, and we have seen that as far as auditors are concerned. We went the cheap route with this other guy before we got Catalano. He was late getting us the audit. The audit was a mess. And Catalano had to recreate everything, including what he did, in order for us to be audited.
They're very reputable, and I just
I feel that
suggest,
we got good results with them, and like I stated, they're not recreating a budget. The work is not going to be what it was before, therefore, it's not gonna cost the borough $5,100.
well, if our bookkeeping's bad, it will, but I'm hoping it won't be.
Well,
Yeah.
we got, before the audit, we got a couple months
I
to
want
get this in
everybody to
here.
remember though too, okay? All the information we have to give them is from 2018. Noel started in March of 2019. I'm just saying,
She's trying to recreate the book
She is
stuff.
trying to recreate the book.
I'm not gonna call kettle black, but I'm telling you, if you're gonna look at this poor girl,
We can't blame her, right?
when it comes time to do this audit, when we talk about saving money, doing anything else, I just want it known right here, I want it put in the minutes, that Noel nor I had any involvement in anything that happened in 2018.
Okay,
And will not be held responsible.
No, it shouldn't be.
we need a resolution for an auditor, which means I need a motion,
I'll make a motion that we
I
appoint
second.
Catalano as
and
auditor.
seconded by Kelvin. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
No,
You might wanna do a roll call vote.
That's fine, Joe
Yes.
Adam has called a roll call vote,
Do it that way.
Required by
that's fine,
the resolution.
thank you, Joe.
President Bertie Trent,
Yes,
Vice President Joe Adam,
Yes.
Calvin Glass,
Yes.
Jack Root, Reverend Gerald Spaid,
No.
Kevin Swager, Paul Zupich.
Yes.
No.
okay,
No, I do believe down the road, no, I'm not, 3, 4 years, 4 at the most, you may be able to go the route that Reverend
Back to
Spade's
like
talking
monitors.
about.
That's right.
Until you get,
we need to clean up the
yeah,
mess.
so when you get the stuff cleaned up, I do believe then, just like you're talking about, regular auditors of the local area probably can take it over. But till some of this other stuff is cleaned up, I think it would be pretty rough for them.
I don't see the benefit of what we had at $5,200 because we found out later on that we had fines. And if they saw that those things were done and not done, and not filed,
It was.
the auditor would have caught that.
They did
And they
catch it,
did.
and they put it right here. And if you would have read that, you would have seen that. They told us what course of action we're to follow. We would have never figured this out, ever, and they never did before us.
I think that
This is I
if you're
suggest
gonna
you read
have,
the audit.
if you're
You
gonna,
have
if
your
you're, I
copy.
have a copy. If you're going to do that, you should get a proposal at a fixed price from
And, well,
them.
they went through that as well, and they only had one auditor in the area that made a bid, and that was Catalano and Catalano. And if we keep bad-mouthing professionals, we're not gonna have one person ever do anything for us here. I think we should be careful with
And
this
we
stuff.
we voted on this, and I did take
Good
Joe's
argument.
suggestion, which we all agree that we wanna get to, appointed auditors so that we're not paying that much of a price, but yeah, we have to get our finances straightened out, so we're gonna
We
move
need your
along.
help.
We are going into executive session now. Thank you both for being here. No.
In the past election, I want to thank all the citizens that voted for me for Councillor of Coalport Borough. My intent has been to serve the taxpayers and citizens of this town with honesty and integrity, and to follow the statutes as the oath requires. Councillor must take requires us to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. These two constitutions we as councillor are to uphold. Part of the Commonwealth Constitution is the Borough Code of Pennsylvania, and by addressing these statutory restraints, you will see that some of the councillors are displeased. But I am here to serve you as councillor for Coalport Borough. In the past election, I want to thank all the citizens that voted for me for Councillor of Coalport Borough. My intent has been to serve the taxpayers and citizens of this town with honesty and integrity, and to follow the statutes as the oath requires. Councillor must take requires us to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. These two constitutions we as councillor are to uphold. Part of the Commonwealth Constitution is the Borough Code of Pennsylvania, and by addressing these statutory restraints, you will see that some of the councillors are displeased. But I am here to serve you as councillor for Coalport Borough.